Hi everybody, I wanted to take you through some sample regions questions to review this acids and bases unit. As you probably know, we're not doing any formal testing right now, but I did want to just kind of rehash everything and key information that's in this unit. So I'm going to cut through a bunch of these questions, both multiple choice and constructed response, kind of refresh your memory on some of this stuff. So the first question in part A, according to the so this is in your notebook, there's a review book, acids and bases section. This are those orange review book sections. So this is the end of that. This is pages 189 to 192. So you want to follow along and annotate, you can do that. So according to the Arrhenius theory, the only negative ions in an aqueous solution of a base are what? So what you can do here is if you're talking about bases, you can go to table L, which is your list of bases, and you can kind of look at the formulas there and see what in the formula makes it a base. And a base would have hydroxide ions. This doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. Which statement best describes a solution produced when an Arrhenius acid is dissolved in water? So when you're looking at acids, that's table K. So if you look at table K and look at what those formulas have in common, they have the hydrogen ion in common. This is true for bases. This has nothing to do with acids bases. Number 3, which substance can act as an Arrhenius acid in an aqueous solution? So again, we can go to table K and find something on table K that either is an answer choice or looks a lot like an answer choice. So the key with this is you want to have the hydrogen in the front. So this question on an acid and aqueous solution of a base causes some indicators to change color, conducts electricity, contains more hydrogen than hydroxide or more hydroxide than hydrogen. So we want to differentiate between an acid and a base with this question. So 1 is out because acids and bases can both cause indicators to change color. Choice 2 is out because they both can conduct electricity. They're both electrolytes. So this applies to both acids and bases. Now, we want the answer that we choose to apply to a base. So this refers back to earlier questions. Bases will have more hydroxides. Choice 3, more hydrogens would be an acid. 5 is a repeat question again. If we're talking about a base or dealing with hydroxide, that's the OH. 6 is repetitive as well. Acidic has the hydrogens. All right, so again, this is repetitive. Relative ion concentrations in an acid solution, we have more hydrogens than hydroxides. This is not true here. We definitely will have hydroxides because some of those water molecules split apart and produce hydroxides, but we're going to have an excess of hydrogens. Number 8 is an indicator question. So phenolphthalein is an indicator. So you go to table M, and you did practice with table M, both in questions and in the coloring. So phenolphthalein can either be colorless or it can be pink. Okay, so that means blue and yellow are out. Never pick a color for an indicator that it can't be, please. Okay, so in a base solution, bases have high pH. So if you go to reference table M, you would see that the change for color for phenolphthalein is something around 8 to 9. It's approximately that. So what that means is anything less than 8, phenolphthalein will be colorless, and any pH that's higher than 9, phenolphthalein will be pink. So because bases have high pHs, we would have a pink color. Number 9, which substance is always produced by a neutralization reaction? So you need to know that a neutralization reaction is acid plus base produces salt plus water. So we're looking for a product, so we've got to choose what? Well, no, wrong one. I said water and circled acid. Oh, I'm so silly. So we would circle water here. Acid and base, those would be reactants. Number 10, the reaction between 1 mole of hydrogen and 1 mole of hydroxides is called what? So if we have 1 hydrogen and 1 hydroxide, we're able to make water, and the process of making that water would be neutralization. Number 11, pure water. Water has a pH of 7. You need to know that. That's memorization. So all those first 11 questions were all like recall and memorization questions. There was no, well, the phenolphthalein one you can look up, but there's no like critical thinking here. It's just recall. Part B is kind of an extension of that. Which substance is classified as a salt? So a salt has to be ionic, which means it has to have a metal and a nonmetal. So it cannot be an acid or a base. So choice 1 is out because choice 1 is a base. And you have a metal with an OH at the end, that's a base. Choices 2 and 3 are out because those are covalent. They only have nonmetals in them. So that leaves us with choice 4 because this calcium is a metal, chlorine is a nonmetal. Consider this neutralization reaction. Which compound is the salt? Okay, well, we know neutralization has to be acid plus base, and we know we have to produce salt plus water. Well, that's obviously water, so that leaves us with the salt. Okay, let's see the next page. Number 14, a solution turns litmus to red. So this is a table M question. Litmus can be either red or blue. It's red in low pHs, and it's blue in high pHs. So we want to go with the most acidic pH here. 15, if equal volumes of 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid are mixed, the resulting solution will contain salt and, okay, well, we know this is a base, we know this is an acid, we're making salt, and we also know we're making water. Next question, this is another neutralization question, equal volumes of sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. You would have water, and okay, well, this is actually a tough one. You know you're going to do neutralization, but this acid has twice as many hydrogens as the base does. So if I mix equal volumes of it, I'm still going to have extra hydrogens left over. So I'm still going to have acid left as well as the salt that I'm making. So this is the answer. This one's a pretty tough one. I don't foresee that as being like a Regents concept at this point. Number 17, a sample of solution with a pH of 10 is tested separately with phenolphthalein and litmus. So pH of 10, that should tell you that it's a base. And I'm using two separate indicators, and I'm going to look at the colors here. So litmus in a base pH would be blue, and then phenolphthalein in a base pH is going to be pink. So that's a table M question. You don't have to memorize these colors, you just need to know how to use the table. Next one, a student observes an unknown solution conducts electricity, turns litmus to red. Say, don't worry about the starting color of litmus, worry about the ending color. If litmus turns red, that means the pH is low, so that would tell us that it's an acid. 19, solution of an ionic compound turns litmus to blue. So again, the final color of litmus is blue, conducts electricity, reacts with an acid to form a salt and water. So that is talking about a base. So the answer we would choose is 4. Oh no, the next column. 20, don't have to worry about. 21, HNO3 and CH3COOH would be classified as what? So the first part of the question has to do with saying if they're an acid or a base. So HNO3 is an acid, and remember that if you have a compound that has Cu at the end, that also tells you that it's an acid. And acids, in terms of litmus, the litmus would be red, so that gives us choice 1. 22, substances added to a solution containing phenolphthalein. The solution turns pink. Phenolphthalein turns pink in a base, so we want to choose our base here. That's going to be choice 3, potassium, a metal with hydroxide. Both of these are acids. These are both on table K. This is an alcohol. If you have a covalent substance, so carbon, hydrogens, oxygens, and hydrogens here, if you have a covalent substance that has an OH at the end, it's an alcohol. It's not an acid or a base. Okay, student accidentally spills an unknown chemical on her hand. She quickly washes it off and notices that her skin feels slippery. She has an electrical conductivity tester at her lab station and tests the conductivity. It's a good conductor of electricity. She puts a piece of litmus paper in the sample and it turns blue. she can conclude that the liquid is what? So if litmus turns blue, we know that it is a base. It says good conductor, so probably a strong base, but I think that that's kind of a crappy question, unless they gave you an actual pH value. Like if they said it has a pH of 12, I would say strong. If it said it had a pH of like 9, I would say weak. But I think that's kind of a crappy question there. But definitely you should be able to tell that it's a base. This is more indicator stuff. Sulfuric acid can be used to neutralize barium hydroxide. What is the formula of the salt produced by the neutralization? So we know that we're making water out of this, and then the salt is going to be made out of this. So you just have to put the pieces together. All right, so let's look at some constructed response questions here. I'm going to jump around with this. Let's look at number 31. A student recorded the following burette readings during the titration of a base with an acid. So this is the titration stuff that I put through on a lesson for you, and you guys got some practice questions with. And this was, I gave you a lab video to watch and some lab data to work with. So we have HCl that has a 0.1 molar concentration, and then we have KOH, which is a base that we don't know the molarity of. So we have an initial reading and a final reading. So this is directly related to the lab. When you have an initial volume and a final volume, you would subtract these to get the amount that is used during the process. So this would be 10.01 milliliters would be the amount, the volume of HCl that was used. So that's your VA, volume of your acid. The molarity of your acid, your MA, is 0.1. And then the volume of your base, again, you subtract, so that would be 5.01 milliliters. So that's the volume of your base. And then you're looking for the molarity of your base. So calculate the molarity of the KOH. So you would do, our formula would be N MAVA equals N MBVB. Now the N is the number of hydrogens that are in the acid, and then the number of hydroxides that are in the base. So it's going to be a 1 on each side. The molarity of the acid is 0.1. The volume of the acid is 10.01. The molarity of the base is our unknown, and the volume of our base is 5.01. Okay, so when you solve this, so 10.01 times 0.1 times 1 would be 1.001, and that's equal to 5.01x. So 1.001 divided by 5.01, and that gives us x equals 0.199, so we'll say 0.2 molar. So anytime you're given lab data with a titration, the amount used is found by subtracting the initial amount and the final amount. So you can't use those numbers that are in the data table directly. 32, here's a pH question. Calcium hydroxide is commonly known as agricultural lime and is used to adjust the soil pH. So when you start to see like landscapers out in the springtime, they start throwing stuff on the lawn, a lot of what they're doing is adjusting the pH of the soil with different fertilizers, and they can use agricultural lime for that. Okay, before the lime was added to the field, the soil pH was 5. After the lime was added, the soil underwent a 100-fold decrease in hydronium ion concentration. What's the new pH of the soil? All right, so if we're talking about a change of 100 times, that's 2 zeros, so our pH is going to change by 2 units. So we know our final pH has to be either 3 or 7. Okay, there are 2 things in this question that will tell you which direction you need to go. The first one I think is easier. It tells us that it's calcium hydroxide. Compounds that have hydroxide in them are bases. Bases have higher pHs. So that's one thing that will tell you the direction in which to shift. The other thing is, if we're decreasing the hydrogen or hydronium ion concentration, because hydronium is this, it's also known as a hydrogen ion. So if I'm decreasing the amount of hydrogens I have, I'm becoming less acidic. And if I'm becoming less acidic, my pH has to go up as well. So that would tell me that it has to be 7. All right, 33 and 34 are titration questions as well. Okay, a student titrates 60 milliliters, that's a volume of HNO3. HNO3 is an acid, so that's my volume of my acid, with 0.3 molar NaOH. So NaOH is a base, M is molarity, so this is the molarity of my base. Phenolphthalein is used as my indicator. After adding 42.2 milliliters of sodium hydroxide, so that's the volume of my base, a color change remains for 25 seconds. The student stops the titration. What color change does phenolphthalein undergo during the titration? So you'd go to table M, and you would look at phenolphthalein, and phenolphthalein can be colorless, or it can be pink. Okay? And the table tells you that at low pHs, it's colorless, and at high pHs, it's pink. So here, we're adding a base. So that means our pH started low because it's an acid. And then we add base to it. And we add a base to it, the pH starts to rise, okay? So as the pH starts to rise, the color which started out clear would turn to pink. So what color change does it undergo? You could just say clear to pink, or it changes pink. What's the molarity of the HNO3? So we're looking for Ma. So the molarity of our acid, we look at NMAVA equals NMBVB. The N is the number of hydrogens in the acid, which is 1. The N is the number of OHs in the base, which is 1. This is our unknown. The volume of our acid is 60. Molarity of our base is 0.3, so this is all in the question. Volume of our base is 42.2. So the 1 on each side really doesn't matter because it's the same. So we will have 60x equals 42.2 times 0.3, which is 0.66. So x is equal to 0.66 divided by 60, which is 0.011 molar. Um, 35 and 36, there's more titration stuff. In this data table, they're giving you the volume used, so they did the subtraction. So this number was found by subtracting those two, and this number was found by subtracting those two. So that's the volume that you're going to use in the calculation, the one that the subtraction was done for you already. So that's just an MAVA, MBVB problem. Let's see. Trying to get something different here. Here's more titration. So there's, initial and final, so you'd have to subtract there to get the volumes used. Look at the last question here. So the last one we look at. A truck carrying concentrated nitric acid. Nitric acid is HNO3, has a low pH, overturns and spills its contents. The acid drains into a nearby pond. The pH of the pond water was 8 before the spill. After the spill, the pH is 1,000 times more acidic. So what will the new pH be, first of all? So if it's 1,000 times more acidic, that means the pH is going to go lower. And because it's 1,000 times more acidic, it's going to go lower 3 units. So the final pH is going to be 5. Now the question's not asking that. The question is saying what color will bromethymol blue be at this new pH? So you go to your reference table M, look up bromethymol blue. Bromethymol blue can either be yellow or blue. And you will see that bromethymol blue is yellow at low pHs and it's blue at higher pHs. So because our final pH was more acidic, it would be yellow. Okay, so that gives you a nice broad selection of questions. And hopefully that gets you some refresher on acids and bases. There's a CASEL learning on acids and bases for you to work on that will summarize the whole unit.